So you found the skeleton. How would you tell if that was you personally? How would you decide?
Well, interesting question. I don't know. I'd have to do some research on that.
Hey everybody, welcome to Dapper Reacts. I'm here with Kip and Vishanti. Say hello, everybody.
Hi,
Hello,
and I was
everybody.
like,
There you go.
I was not. I'm very distracted by other things happening.
You're also
So, but I'll
weirdly
stop
peaking
now.
on your microphone, which
Really?
you weren't earlier.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm
Doesn't
not.
sound like
that's
that to
weird.
me.
I don't understand why. I don't understand why or when that happens because I literally never touch
it's
my
all
mic
right.
settings.
Same.
It's weird.
I've turned you down a little bit on my end, so
Okay.
hopefully that'll make it
Okay.
a little bit better.
Okay.
So how is everybody?
Go ahead, Vish.
I mean, I was just arguing with neo-Nazis in the Instagram comments earlier today, and you know, it's weird how they go instantly silent when you ask them to fact check literally anything.
Yeah. Well, they're not used to the idea of having to back up their statements.
Well, yeah, somebody made a
sorry?
meme and they were like, "Yep, that sounds good. No need to question it," and then they just paste it everywhere. Love that for them.
Well, I mean, it's the same behavior that you see with young Earth creationists and flat earthers, and yeah, and even actually,
Oh shit.
oftentimes like the cringy anti-theist Reddit atheist types, where it's just like, oh hey, this agrees with my preconceived notions, so I'm going to share it regardless of how accurate it may or may not be. So you get things like people uncritically accepting things like the first section of Zeitgeist being an accurate view of like religious history or even just astronomy.
Oh yes.
And I just
That's
realized
true.
there was just a Dapper as a professional because I improperly cropped Kip's video feed, so I'll take a drink for that. Which actually brings me to
really? Am I
something.
like
No, it was my fault.
I'm not
Not your fault.
properly centered on the is that what you're telling me?
From my end, I had you messed up a little bit.
Okay.
This is a me thing,
Could
not a
I-
you thing. Nope, you're good.
Would it help?
No.
Oh, okay. All right. I don't have to do anything.
Yeah, you're good.
Nice.
It was all
I
on me.
like not doing anything.
Yeah,
So
I can tell.
Um,
That's why you have
but
so
my-
few streams.
so few. It's true.
But actually, the fact that I'm drinking
no,
the Moscow Mule
actually.
brings up something I have to talk about real quick. Which is
Oh.
to say, I received some gifts from my wish list recently. Now, I received some ginger beer and a new webcam from Joshua Geese. And
Nice.
Joshua Geese, with the ginger beer, said that I hope this makes some mules. So I, in fact, bought vodka.
Oh yeah.
And I am drinking
Hell yeah.
a ginger beer with some vodka and some lime juice out of my copper mug. Well, one of my copper mugs.
It's mule season. God damn.
yeah.
I don't know if I even know where my copper mugs are anymore.
You just have to buy new
Because
ones.
like we're
But also, if you want to see
Yeah,
the webcam in action, you can go watch the last episode of Star Trek Endurance that we did on Top Hats Off last night. That used the new webcam. And also, okay, a Wayland Yutani baseball cap came for me, and there was no card with it.
Ooh.
So I don't know for sure who sent it. But I really like it,
what that is.
and I appreciate it. And if it was you who sent that to me, please let me know so that I can thank you. Because I really, really appreciate it, but I don't know who to thank. So, yeah, thank you. And then Tree Clam Tad, who's been a member for 13 months, that's more than once around the sun, says, Kip has as many streams as he has books, 0.
Boy, I feel like those two things are equally true. The number of streams
Yeah.
ratio to books. Absolutely. So I didn't get I was watching I didn't get a chance to respond because I had weird earbud things happening. But I watched the first 2 episodes of season 4 of Invincible last night.
Okay.
Which is pretty great. So that was good. That made for a nice evening. And then I got nice comments on my video on my stream from yesterday actually. And I like it when I get nice comments on my streams.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I
That's
just
real nice.
thought I thought I would share because I like these ones. So Grigory Gahan says, ironically, I think I've heard far more from Kip talking down to Reddit atheists than just about anyone. Hell, he
Yeah.
opens his book by picking apart Mars' ending of Religulous. Kip and Dan, that's Dan McClellan, kind of bat the same game from different sides of the field. Dan will tell you, I'm a Mormon, but in this context and on this platform, I'm a scholar engaging with the scholarly research. Kip would probably say, yeah, I'm an atheist. Not sure. What of it? Isn't this an atheist? Sorry, this isn't an atheist channel. It's a channel about biblical scholarship and the varying people who produce these works and their just as varied beliefs.
Yeah, I also get comments that this channel is an atheist channel. I mean, it's not. There are atheists here, and that's fine. But this is not an atheism channel. It's not an atheist channel.
Yeah, true.
In fact,
it
feels weird when people...
appreciate it.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say I just appreciate it so much when people get it.
Yeah.
Because like that guy was responding to I read a comment on my stream yesterday that was posted on Apology's channel on his recent video with Josh and I. Somebody had posted a hilariously off point comment that was amusing. So like and I read it on stream and that's what this guy was responding to. But it's delightful when people actually understand what I'm doing, what I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
On YouTube. So thank you.
All right, so we have Sapphire Zombie. Oh, hold on. YouTube's always making all these things hard to read. Sapphire, Zombie Goliath Light. There we go. And Jessica Transmetal Alchemist both sent 5 Dapper Dinosaur memberships. I took 10 drinks while Kip was talking because conveniently Kip was talking, and so I could. And then Roshna, who's been a member for 30 months, says, this is a Mormon channel and Kip is a Mormon? Yes, there we go. We got it. We figured it out, everybody. Then Tree Clam Tad for $5 says, question for the panel. Sorry, let me start over. Question for the panel is, how could I just kill a man better than hand on the pump? AIG is a duffel of drakes. I think that's mostly a Vishanti question.
Song though. Oh, dude. I don't know. That's really hard.
Vishanti is probably the one who knows and listens to the most rap here. Not that I don't listen to any or know any.
Well, I mean, I probably also listen to slightly more Rage Against the Machine than both of you, so...
It's been a long time. I used to listen to a lot of Rage Against the Machine.
Triceratops.
You know what? Now I want to put that on my...
They're so much better when you're on the left wing of the spectrum.
You mean the wing that is actually
the
raging
same spectrum that Rage has been on the whole time, of course.
Yeah.
But... Yeah, it's much more fun and enjoyable when you're like, oh yeah, no, this is very blatant, like, left-wing politics.
It is always hilarious to me when
my parents suck and F the system. It's like, oh no, these are actual proper socio-political critiques.
It's always hilarious to me when right-wingers find out that the bands they listened to in, like, the 90s were not, in fact, right-wing, like, proto-Nazis.
Like, what machine did you think you were raging against, my dude?
Triceratops 18...
It's so funny, because, like, I know that I've said this before, but like Tom Morello, since they've started, has had "Arm the Homeless" written on his guitar. It's like, how do you miss this?
Triceratops 18 says, happy spring, everyone. AIG is a bag of dicky carriers. P.S. Ice delenda est. Yes. Someone who knows Latin, conjugate and decline that for me, please. So here's the thing. Latin usually takes direct loan words and decides that they are indeclinable. Greek does the same thing. Which is why in Greek, say, if you're reading like the New Testament in Greek, Jesus doesn't ever have any other endings besides Jesus. It's a non-declinable noun. So basically, until a noun has been in the language for long enough that it doesn't feel like a foreign word anymore, it tends not to get declined. So Latin would probably just use ice. Unless they used a calque, in which case you would translate like immigration and customs enforcement into Latin. But the thing is that the Romans didn't really have an idea of immigration. That's a very modern concept for until like really the modern period, until like, like the 1700s. Immigration was just moving. And sure,
Yeah, it's almost like, the idea of nation states and fixed borders like that is very
Oh, is that
recent.
a new thing?
yeah.
Oh,
And don't get me wrong,
really?
you would change which
Wow.
government you were under if you moved far enough. You'd have a new prince in charge of you, or a new, city council if you're in one of the big cities in like medieval Europe or something, right? Like the government would change. Who you pay taxes to would change. But the idea that someone would be like, "Oh, I'm sorry, you're from Saxony. No, you have to show us your paperwork in order to come here and start, making shoes in our town." Mm-mm. No, that just wasn't a thing. It was just moving. Now, don't also get me wrong. People had a lot less opportunity to move back before the modern period because, not many people had the wealth to do that. And also integrating yourself into a new town or city or whatever was extremely hard to do. But like,
We should
there was no law about it.
probably qualify some of that too, because I mean there are whole cultures of people who just don't or didn't settle and just kept
That's
moving
true, yeah.
from one place to another. Well, same places, right? But constant
Yeah.
movement back and forth.
The Roma are a
lo-
favorite,
lots
are a
of-
famous example.
Lots of those.
Yup.
And you might know the Roma by
the
their less fortunate exonym, the Gypsies, but they are not
the
the
Bedouins.
That
Gypsies.
is a slur.
Yup.
Please don't
there's
use it.
there are several but in particular the plains natives here in
North
in
America,
North
really.
America,
Yeah.
where I grew up, right in the city of Calgary. All the indigenous nations were
There's the
were nomadic
Tinkers in
peoples who
Ireland.
just
Well, not all of them.
followed
The Pacific
the
Northwest
bison
had plenty
around,
of
so
the Pacific Northwest and the East had plenty of sedentary cultures.
yeah.
Mhm.
So it's the
Yes.
plains that had the most
Oh.
nomads and semi-nomads. But like even today,
Because
there
I'm-
are semi-nomads all over Central Asia. There are actual nomads.
Yeah.
There are nomadic groups in Africa. Yeah, like there are also still nomadic groups in Europe. In
I'll just-
fact, to this day, tinker populations continually come into conflict with the Republic of Ireland's government over attempts to do things like culturally assimilate them and force them to move into things like townhouses and council housing and things like that, which they do not want to do. And then they get in trouble for things like, well, we don't have a fixed address for you. Yeah, that's kind of the point. Sorry.
Yeah.
The mistreatment of the tinker population in Ireland, which continues on to this day, sometimes pisses me off a little bit. Because, like, sometimes they have things happen, like their kids taken away because they're being quote-unquote neglected because they're moving around. Like, yeah, you think that a nomadic group might be moving around a little bit and that you trying to force them into a sedentary culture is actually just causing more harm than good? I don't know. I'm going to stop talking about it now because I'm going to get pissed off. Anyway, Dutch
Okay.
Tunicate Official
Yeah,
for
well,
$5.
I will. No, I was just going to say because you mentioned it. So Roland DeVoe, the great biblical scholar and archaeologist, wrote this book back in the 1960s. He wrote it in French. This is my English translation.
Lame.
But,
Read it in French, you loser.
I know. Yeah, but the French version is like it's like bigger, right? So this was big enough.
That's just the silent letters. They add up over time.
Yeah.
Whatever. They do add
Praise
up a
last
lot.
language.
So, but this book is quite dated, but it's still really fairly useful in a lot of ways. This is ancient Israel, its life and institutions, and rather innovatively, Roland DeVoe started to align practices and descriptions of things from the biblical text with observations that he made about the Bedouin that he lived among in Israel and interacted with on a regular basis, and he's got some good insight in there. I just wanted to point that out as for my work.
Mhm.
It's of course thousands of years, things change, but there are still analogs that we turn to as historians and biblical scholars and anthropologists. There are analogs that we turn to in the observable world in order to help us to understand some things in antiquity better.
Yeah. Dutch Tunicate Official for $5 says, I like how I had to have an argument with a liberal Canadian about how I shouldn't move for grad school, actually, because I need to stay and fight. Yeah, so here's the thing, right? I am not going to judge people who either move in order to escape fascism or who decide to stay and fight. And look, we need people to stay and fight, but also, if what is best for you and your family is just getting out, like, I get that. It's not like when, look, as someone who says, I think the United States should accept refugees, I can't then go around and say, well, when the United States produces refugees, they should stay and fight anyway. So, no, like, if you need to get out of here, okay. Look, there are things where I'm like, there might be things coming up that if they happen, it might be time for me to leave. And I'm looking into what my options are for that. I don't want to. I would much rather stay. But, if you can stay and fight, good, please do. If you can't, then go be safe. I don't know. I feel like we need to stop judging people on whether or not they decide to flee fascism.
Yeah, and if you know of people who want to flee but cannot because that is a monetary privilege that not everyone has access to, then try to take care of them.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong, the only reason I even could potentially flee is because I have people who could help me out in terms of, like, letting me stop with them for at least a while I try to get on my feet in a foreign country. So, also, like, yeah. Which is
totally
also
yank of the wheel here. But I do want to say something before I forget it. Kip, do you remember that time that I told you a hypothesis that I was chewing on about Genesis 2 and 3 and how it might relate to demoting Asherah and how it's, preserving that? Wouldn't you know that in Bart Ehrman's New Insights into the Hebrew Bible conference, which is happening right now, Shauna Delansky is doing a paper this very moment on that topic. And now I feel completely freaking justified. Like, I've signed up for the course so I can get the notes and the recordings or whatever, and I feel so freaking amazing about this. Like, I didn't make this up. Hell yes!
Fits of Rage for $2 says...
so excited.
Fits of Rage for $2 says, I think Dapper put money under the table today with an AIG as a bag of dicks emoji. We'll take a drink for that. Thank you. All right, so there's one thing I have to ask people, and then we're going to start, because we've already been going long enough without the video. All right, nope, Kip, sorry, we're cutting you off. There's one thing I have to ask. Okay, I had to return something to the grocery store today. I bought something, and it turns out that when I went to go put it in the refrigerator, some of the contents of the packaging had leaked into the bag, which means that it had been open, like, not like opened open, but like someone had like cut it open when they were cutting open the box it was in. Because, I've worked in a grocery store. It happens, right? Sometimes your box cutter slips a little bit and you get the product. But beforehand, every time I go to return anything to a grocery store, which doesn't happen often, but I always think, what if they say that I did it myself and they don't take the return? And it's a stupid thing to think, because why would I start to open a package of food that I bought for me only to go back to the grocery store, return it, and get a different package of the same food, which is what I'm doing, right? That doesn't make a damn bit of sense. But I think about it anyway. I need to know if I'm alone in that. Do other people have this completely irrational concern of what if they think that it's my fault and they don't take the return?
Yeah, totally.
Okay, good. It's like, I recognize intellectually that it makes no damn sense at all, because no one would do that. But still, every time I'm like, oh, this lady behind the counter, she's going to think I did it to the packaging myself just to get... And then I realized,
and it's like,
to get
what end?
The thing I already bought? That's stupid. Why would I do that?
Again, to what end?
Right. So, yeah. Tree Clam Tad says, I'm a straight scroll up. I'm a straight presenting middle-aged man, and I live in a border state. I will hold the door open for anyone. Message me with a Mothra, a pride flag, there we go, and a trans flag. Thank you very much, Tree Clam Tad. That is actually pretty important. That there be people...
Fight you in Temecula!
Yeah, but no, seriously, like, it's it's sort of like an Underground Railroad thing, right? Like, if people need to flee a place, it is easier to do if there are people who will take them in. And it's certainly not as dramatic as the Underground Railroad, because right now that's just someone visiting you. So, like, you don't have to hide them or anything. But, like, it's still the same basic idea. Having a network of people who can help. So a house across
one of those things that I hold to the philosophy of Ted Theodore Logan and his compatriot Bill when I say be excellent to each other.
Yes. Good advice from a great philosopher of our time.
Yes.
Um,
One of the best, yes.
so
Bill S. Preston Esquire.
I grew up in Massachusetts, and if you looked at the house that was across the street and then one to the right from my house growing up, the window placement was uneven on the front side of the house. And that's because part of that side of the house was actually a little crawl space for hiding runaway slaves in on their way to Canada for the Underground Railroad.
Neat. Wow.
Yeah. Yep. So
I
I
mean, neat
lived
in a bad way, but
well, it's neat that it was built by people who were doing, good work there. I'm not gonna look.
yeah.
I'm not gonna sit around and say, like, every time I talk about someone doing a good thing during the bad situation, I say, well, it's unfortunate it needed to happen. We all know that every time.
Sure.
Right. But like, yeah, it was pretty cool to grow up like looking at a piece of history from, an underground network of people helping people escape from oppression and whatnot. It was neat. Dutch Tunicate official, who's been a member for 22 months, says, "I want to help research climate change with a bag of AIGs." Well, I hope you can, because seems like all the funding for that, at least in the former U.S., is dried up. Actually,
I'm sorry,
recently,
but super pathetic. Somebody in the chat just informed me that super pathetic apologist and member of the Discovery Institute, Jonathan McClatchy, is live streaming right now on another channel. But he's identified in the description as famous Christian apologist. Dr. Jonathan McClatchy.
I mean, I guess it depends on like where does famous start? Like, am I famous? I don't know.
I mean, by that metric, abso-fucking-lutely. So
I just love their humility. It's great. It's a real inspiration.
Oh, so here's something interesting about them. Recently, the Discovery Institute on their YouTube channel put out a bit of a talk given by the late and murderer Gunter Beckley, and it came down real fast. I think part of that might have been both me and some of the other science friends spreading around the fact that, oh, hey, the Discovery Institute decided to put up another video by murderer Gunter Beckley. And it seems like they got a negative response to that. So thank you, everybody. Because while I am generally against dogpiling, when it comes to certain people, like murderers, no, absolutely, dogpile away. I don't care. The protection from dogpiling comes against people who are just like jerks. Like, that's fine. Be a jerk. I don't care. Don't dogpile people just for being a jerk.
Yeah, it's social consequences. This is not life-ending stuff here.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to hit play on this. Where we left off, we were being told how amazing it was that the word book is the 16th word from the beginning of the verse of Revelation 5:1 and the 11th from the end, and how that actually means that not only that the book in Revelation is the Bible, which it absolutely cannot be, because when the Revelation was written, there was no such thing as the Bible. It was probably the book of life, which is something mentioned in earlier texts. And also, you would have just found some other verse that was like 26 or whatever words long, where some other significant word was in the 16th/11th spot, and that would have been your evidence. This doesn't mean anything. Sorry, Vishanti. I had to finish that thought. What was that?
That's okay. So we have a request, I believe, in the chat from Vivitch Rosen, who isn't quite up to date on the Gunter Beckley vehicular homicide.
Yes.
Incident.
So, first of all, this is not very hard to find if you're looking through Austrian news, but I do have a link to it on my channel posts if you want to scroll through there, but I'm not going to go hunt it down again because I have provided it probably several dozen times to people who have asked for it. But Gunter Beckley was announced to have died in a traffic accident by the Discovery Institute. And it was in fact in Austria when this happened, as acknowledged by them. And it was said, we checked Austrian news, and there was only one report of a fatal car accident in Austria that we could find. And Austria isn't a huge place. It's not like the US where there's going to be like, 100 in any given day. So like, this was the only one we could find. And it was consistent with statements from his wife about how he had been being very depressed as a result of a medical problem, and how he had been having a really rough time, was asking for lots of prayers. And the wife in this situation was said that she had been worried about her husband for a while and had called the police when he went off driving. And that guy plowed into oncoming traffic, killing himself and someone else. And the only reasonable conclusion I can find is that that guy was Gunter Beckley, and that he killed himself by murdering someone with his car. So, yeah. Would it hold up in a court of law? Probably not. However, this isn't a court of law, and I don't have to follow the beyond a reasonable doubt standard. I can go with preponderance of the
Also,
evidence.
this could be at best dinosaur court.
Well, yeah, but it's not even dinosaur court, because it's just me, and what I use for most of my beliefs for most of my life is just preponderance of the evidence. It seems most likely that this is true, and not the opposite being true. So yeah, as far as I can tell, Gunter Beckley did a murder-suicide. So yeah.
And hey, evangelical Christians as a class, please stop stigmatizing mental health problems and treatment thereof.
Although Gunter was actually Catholic.
That's also just like a broad call out.
Yeah. I just want to make sure that we don't.
Obviously, yeah, the Gunter was a Catholic, but also,
generally speaking, we need less stigmatization for mental health problems.
Yeah.
People generally don't choose to have mental health problems. Yeah. Olivia Williams.
Oh, I'm going to wake up depressed today. That's not how that works.
No. Olivia Williams, Purple Fairy says, remind me, I recently heard someone say that Revelation was possibly written before the Gospel and could be the earliest Christian text. What does Kip think?
Oh, wait, sorry. I was distracted.
That was for 5 Beaver Butts.
Remind me, I recently heard someone say that Revelation was possibly written before the Gospels.
I assume that's what she means.
It could be the earliest Christian text.
Seems...
I think I'm fairly sure that most scholars put Revelation in even like early 2nd century, and one of the reasons for that is because there's almost certainly a reference in there to the Nero and his persecution of Christians. And,
I guess you could go with
his own death, and it just there's a lot of factors in there. I mean, Paul's definitely earlier. There's no question of that, I think.
Yeah.
So
like if Paul had been around for Nero, he would have talked about Nero.
I would say too. I tend to think that because I think Steve Mason makes an excellent case that Mark is in large part functioning as apologetic for the gospel, which is a Paul thing. It's something that people don't think of often enough, but the gospel is Paul's invention. Like that's his thing, and Mark is like clever propaganda for that. I also tend to think that Mark is possibly, most scholars say everything is post 70, but I think Mark is potentially written during the Jewish War. But
I was gonna say I think the only way you could get to Revelation being pre-gospel is if you have an extremely late date for the Gospels, which I don't think most people would have a date nearly late enough. Like, good luck finding a scholar who's going to say like, "Oh yeah, Mark probably like 130." Like, no, it's you're not going to find that. We got a few more. Joshua Gates for $5 says Dinosaur Court, the true successor to Night Court, the superior successor to Night Court. And then Mitigeek Platypus, it might be Warlock or Librarian. It's cut off by YouTube. Thanks, YouTube. Says, here's to Kip's F Fund. Already used one. I think I need a cheesy pizza. Not cheese, like milky stuff, oozed by groups of AIG
if he
tubules.
Misses it,
I'll take
it
a drink
doesn't
for
count.
it. Well, didn't miss it because someone else caught it for me.
Yeah. God damn it.
All right.
You guys aren't helping. You know that.
Here we go.
But the implication
Oh, wait, do I have this on like super high speed? No, it's just 1.2. Okay.
of the time-space quantum revelation of this is that when John...
Guys, the revelation of the quantum time-space revelation of John.
What the fuck are we... sorry. What are we talking about?
Goodness.
Right now.
Kicked out of here. That's your second one.
Oh, holy shit. What are we talking about?
The quantum time-space ramifications of the revelation of John.
Uh-huh.
What?
Look, have
Don't
you seen
forget, it's
Quantum
more
Mania?
legitimate if you use the word quantum.
Yeah.
Everybody knows that.
Look, have you seen Quantum Mania? Ant-Man
No.
Quantum Mania? No?
No,
Okay.
no,
Well,
no.
what you would have learned if you had watched that is that if you shrink down small enough, you find another new universe full of people and machines and stuff like that, and that actually that's probably where John went. He went to the quantum realm. Where
I really wish we
maybe
had gotten a proper Micronauts movie. Ugh.
well, instead we got Quantum Mania, which had some atrocious CGI, and
Yeah, it
also
did.
Kang the Conqueror, who's now just been cut out of the plot line because the guy they hired to play him turns out to have been a horrible piece of shit that no one
But
wants
you
to
know,
work with
it's only
anymore.
like certain horrible pieces of shit that experience consequences in the Marvel cast. So
Yeah, that's true. But also, look, if this had been 20 years ago, it would have been none of them facing consequences.
basically,
So, you know, I guess I'm glad there's been improvement. I'm not going to say bring him back just because other people aren't facing
Yeah.
consequences.
it's just one of those things. Like I've already gotten warmed up to say like, oh, you don't like the fact that they're continually like rehashing stuff with Robert Downey Jr., who legitimately will put butts in seats. Well, go back in time and tell Jonathan Majors not to be an abusive piece of shit. Maybe we wouldn't be here.
Tree Clam Tan for $5 says 666, the number of Emperor Nero. I'm going to
Yeah.
use these extra characters to mention that Insane in the Brain is the best Cypress Hill song with Godzilla. Thank you very
Yeah.
much.
What's even more cool
I'll take a drink.
about all that is that the textual variant
Yes.
616
Yes.
is also the number of Emperor Nero, and that's how we know.
Kip, remind me,
That's
are there any
precisely-
Yeah.
is there anything in the Bible where letters are being used as numerals in anywhere in the Bible?
just there?
Yeah, okay, but it is there.
Actually, like it. That's it. Yeah.
Okay.
And it's this came up. Is this something we talked about?
Yeah,
I
we
was
talked about it
talking
with
to someone
Craig
about
and
this
McToon.
recently.
And I said
Mhm.
McToon
Yeah,
like a
that's it.
flatty. Yep. Yeah, so MC Toon
Yeah.
and Craig had asked this question, and I was like, well, like, there is using number or letters as numerals is like a thing, and then Kip comes and is like, oh, I don't think it ever occurs in the Bible. And I'm like, yeah, what about Revelation? And Kip's, well, I meant the Bible, like the Old
it's not-
Testament. And then I was like, well, you
Yeah.
might mean that, but I'm pretty sure that when Craig and MC Toon say the Bible, they include Revelation, buddy.
They mean that
I don't
particular.
mind correcting people, you know, in their misconceptions of what that is. So
I'm gonna hit
Let
play.
me okay, well, before you do, I just want to summarize what Kip was talking about, just in case there are viewers in the chat or future viewers. Kaiser Neron is one way to spell Caesar Nero.
If you're
and
doing
that-
Greek.
Comes out to 666. If you spell Kaiser Nero, but you spell it not with Greek letters, but with Hebrew letters, that's where you get the 616 variant. So it works in both Greek and Hebrew, which is how we know it's Nero.
I'm gonna play.
pretty great.
Experiences this, and he's seeing the book that is in the right hand of him that sat on the throne. From the time space quantum, of course,
Oh, now it's the time space quantum, not the quantum time space. This is a new thing.
the King James Bible had not manifested on Earth. The 1611
I'm sorry, so are we doing quantum woo to explain the time paradox of the 1611 being the original version of the Bible, but also not having manifested in the quantum realm yet or something?
Uh-huh.
I'm just taking
It was always in the quantum realm, and it
Wait a
just
minute.
came into the physical meat
Oh my
space
God.
in 1611.
That's what
Okay, sure.
Is this what when he says it manifested on Earth? Does he mean it just kind of materialized? Is that it?
Yeah,
Like,
no, well, I
Came
think
out of the fourth dimension.
I think they recognized that there was a translation committee, and yes, I did say McToon, but then I said like a flurf because it is MC.
Yeah, that is funny. When they call him
Mm.
McToon, they just
Yeah.
don't care.
No,
It's like
It's-
literally his initials.
I'm
But
not
no,
even
it's fine.
sure. I'm not even sure if. Well, it's not his. It's so much his initials as the joke was always that he was the worst rapper, so he's MC Toon.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course, MC Escher. That's my favorite MC. No one recognizes that. That's a
Mm.
line from White and Nerdy.
I do. I just
Okay.
wasn't like, ha 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 ha.
Okay, Kip didn't recognize White and Nerdy.
No.
Actually,
No,
speaking
I
of Weird
didn't.
Al, I thought for a second that I was hearing the Weird Al song "Hardware Store," which is one of his non-parody songs, but still a comedy song, at the grocery store. Turns out it wasn't, but I was like, wait a minute. Am I faintly hearing hardware store? No, I wasn't. It's a fun song.
It's
though.
like when you can't figure out if it's Warren G or Michael McDonald.
Or the
when
first,
you hear the
sorry.
do 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 do.
Or the first few bars start, and I'm like, wait, is this Ice Ice Baby or is this Under Pressure?
Well, if there's an extra little bass hit,
Mhm.
Yeah, then it's
then obviously that's Vanilla Ice. Totally different song.
that's a completely different song. No similarities.
11, it's the year of the King James Bible, had not manifested on earth.
Noise Ending says Dapper Dinosaur is fluent in JavaScript as well as Klingon. It's true. And I'll bait any trivia game you bring on.
So what that
Oh, what?
Dapper, you can speak to this a little bit. Katie Lewis says this reminds me of the Islamic tradition about the pre-existing Quran.
Yeah, that's actually something we talked about the last time we were here.
Okay,
Is that this is very similar to the idea of the Quran being the eternal word of God and just being revealed to Muhammad via the angel Jibril or Gabriel, if you want to be not so Arabic about it.
Dang, I wish I wasn't like sick last week.
Well,
Darn
you
it,
shouldn't
I
have
have to go back
chosen
and
to be
watch
sick
it.
because that's how apparently it works.
Wakes up, think I'll be sick today. Like,
Yeah.
okay, yeah.
indicates to us is a predate revelation. That
What?
this book in the right
Okay,
hand of God, being the 1611 King James Bible, predates the Hebrew Bible. Predates
Why did you
the
have to
Greek
generate
Bible.
it with AI if it pre-existed?
They should have just gotten the image of the 1611 that's in God's hand straight from God, because apparently these are the only guys
Yeah.
that God is letting know that the 1611 is the original, real for realsies
Yeah, I mean,
Bible.
he could just give you a thing, and it's like, what's the Monty Python sketch where you see the hand going back into the sky, and the army, the drill sergeant's like, "What's the matter? You know, act like you've never seen the hand of God before."
I don't know if it has a name, but I do remember that sketch.
It's just like, if I'm wrong, may the hand of God strike me down where I stand, and you see the one of
They
my
all have
favorite
names.
bits in all of the Monty Python is that.
Predates the Latin Bible and reveals to us the end from the beginning.
I'm sorry.
Wait,
I
what?
can't take these
What does
guys
that-
seriously. They
what does
have
that
to
mean?
be posed.
I don't know.
They have
Like
to be posed.
this guy, John Roy or Rov, sorry. This dude
Rob.
has an entire like shops front at a in a strip mall that is just full of 1611 Bibles and paraphernalia.
He has to be just extremely committed to the bit. Like, this has to be a long-term 4chan QAnon type of troll
I
to
mean,
see how many
maybe.
people they can dupe into this. It has to be. I cannot accept that they are not posed.
Okay, but here's one thing, right? What I generally think of as the most absurd, like 4chan troll, was free bleeding.
Ugh.
That actually got people on board.
Yeah, but did it cause lead to a literal insurrection for the United States?
Well, no.
I'm going to argue that QAnon was way worse and more successful.
Okay, well, how about this? Of the trolls that were just jokes,
Okay, fair.
because that was like a troll that was actually intended to like cause real chaos and whatnot.
Yeah.
But of the trolls that are just jokes, which it seems like this would be, because I don't think anyone's going to like lead a revolution as a result of the King James Bible being the real word of God, right? To me, free bleeding was probably one of the most successful ones, right? And that actually did not get very many people to do it, but it got a few people. In fact, I believe there was even one like marathon runner who was like, "Yeah, okay, I'll free bleed during the marathon." And it's like,
no.
okay, so you just ruined your shorts. Good job, I guess.
Yeah, basically.
Way to strike a blow for feminism, I suppose.
Also, one of the newer viewers in the chat, Cornsuin, I apologize, I'm not sure how to parse that, is asking, wait, why is the biblical language English? I feel so lost. Well, it's easy. They're just making it up.
Yeah, it's all just made up by them. But the point I'm making is like this troll seems to have been going on for a very long time and have to even less success than free bleeding. And if you don't know what free bleeding is, I would suggest maybe don't look up the pictures if you're at work.
Yeah, just don't.
Yeah, or just don't in general. But I'll say, if you're unaware, it has to do with not using anything to absorb or catch any of the effluent during that time of the month.
Screams.
Which, just as a general rule, like, I don't know, maybe you shouldn't let bodily fluids go everywhere, no matter what they are. I don't know.
Excuse me while I just go curl up in a corner and cry.
Yeah. Tree Clam Tad says, It's I don't know if this is supposed to be a song, but sting cowards. I'm not sure where that one was. Kip gets it.
I don't. I think it's
Dud
funny.
it, dud it, dud it.
Oh, got it.
Like from
we needed a
Dreamcatcher?
drummer. We needed a drummer to figure it out. Ben Thick Tunicate says, I have chapter level overview of a novel. This means I have more of a claim to having written a book than Dr. Kip. There you go.
Hey, no,
it's perfectly accurate.
Because I have actually, my name is on 2 books that have both been retracted.
That counts as 0 books that
which
you've written. If
I
they're
would
retracted,
no,
they're 0.
because you have to actually have written those before they have been retracted. That's how
Look, if a
this
book
works.
gets retracted, you don't get to
This
put it on
is
your
how
CV.
time works. That doesn't matter.
If it's not on your CV, it doesn't count.
It's still, yeah. Well,
Does that make sense?
No, it
boy,
doesn't make
I
sense.
am conflicted now.
100%.
All right. Now we know from
You remember that time that Kent Hovind didn't know what a CV was? Dr. Kent Hovind didn't know what a CV was? Oh, good times.
Hey, Dapper, I'm gonna paste into our group chat how to pronounce this username so that you can help me do it correctly. Because they wrote it in IPA.
Corn Suin?
Okay.
Corn Suin. Is that actually supposed to be a rhoticized schwa? Oh, it's with an O, not an O. So, that is a hard vowel to say, buddy. I am sorry. I'm not sure that I'm going to get that one. Corn. That is really hard. I don't know if I'm going to be able to reliably pronounce that vowel. I'm sorry. If you actually meant to have the rhoticized,
As many vowels as English
schwa,
has, and yet.
Yeah, seriously, that's not one of the normal ones. Also, I did in fact miss the second half of Ben Thick Tunicate, the Mythicipist.
Ah, of course.
Yeah.
Katie Lewis. So what I'm hearing is that Kip has written -2 books.
That does sound like it, yeah.
I think it's -3 technically.
Why would it be -3? How does that even work?
Because Dagon wrote them.
Yeah.
It's on pause. We saw him in the background. We know the truth.
He's always there.
Tree Clam Tad for
looking at me
$5
like
says,
like a dumb, right?
Tree Clam Tad says,
Bobby.
2 retracted books plus God's propaganda equals -1 books, Kip. Okay, now we got an argument for -1. You know what this sounds like? It sounds like it's time
Look
for
at
a
that
poll.
puppy. That doggo. Look at the dog.
All right, here we go. I'm
Dang
going
an
to start a
abomination
poll.
of the Philistines. Look at him. No.
Come on.
Get your puppy.
There we go. Yeah.
Serotonin go brrr. With that doggo. No.
He is the sweetest.
The
He's the
best
sweetest
puppa.
abomination.
Okay,
of all.
I have started a poll. How many books has Kip written? -3, -2, -1, or 0?
Why don't you have 5 on there?
Because that's obviously
like
not one of the options
the
that's
correct
realistic.
number. That's the correct goddamn number.
Okay,
Daniel O.S. says,
keep
I
telling
assume the
yourself
dog
that.
also recorded the audiobook, but nobody would believe there's a talking dog.
The weirdo CKA Evan, who's been a member for 5 months at the amniote level, says, not sure what else to use this for, so random reminder, we're still in a
Yes.
pandangit. Oh, and layers are the best prevention. Vax up and mask up, friends, with a Godzilla.
Dude, I was literally
Take a
on the
drink.
metro this week, coming back from an event, and I had my mask on the bus, and a gentleman who was, next to me was like, "Excuse me, is there a virus or a disease going around?" And I felt this moment of conflict because I wanted to say, yes, actually, COVID is still going around and people are still getting sick from it. But my stupid ass in the moment didn't tell the entire truth. I said, my sinuses are messed up right now and I don't want to be coughing over everybody, which is true because they have been. The tree pollen here in Southern California has been pretty gnarly. But I felt guilty because I wanted to say, hey man, COVID's still a thing. but it just feels like lately people just don't give a fuck about it.
Yeah.
They want to pretend it went away, or I don't know.
6 years later, it's hard for people to give it to still continue to care. It's just it's a fact.
Like, look, just knowing even more about long COVID and the effects that it's having on people's bodies and health, I just don't want that for
Alright.
myself or anybody else.
Here's something else I don't want, which is to say that I like less than half of you half as well as you deserve, because I'm seeing 111
no!
viewers, but only 50 likes.
Oh no!
So hit like, because you just got Bilbo'd. I'm gonna hit play.
That everything that God had Moses do was according to the pattern of heaven. This would mean that the Bible is falling under a pattern, and it would be the pattern.
I
Moses
don't.
saw the 1611 King James in heaven,
I also don't think that
but he wrote it in
follows.
Hebrew.
I don't think that follows either, because like okay, if we take a step out of crazy land, right? The Bible wasn't a thing, even if we assume that Moses actually wrote the Torah, which isn't a thing, because first of all, there probably was no one who we could identify as Moses, and even if there was, wouldn't have been much like the Moses we see in, like, Exodus and so on.
He wouldn't have understood 1611 English.
Yeah, he wouldn't have understood 1611, and also there wouldn't have been something identifiable as the Bible. So, like, what are you talking about? Ben Thick Tunicate has just gifted 5 Dapper Dinosaur memberships. So what I'm going to say is, Vishanti, you should tell me what you think should be the most important grammatical features of the Romulan constructed language that your friend has still not given to us.
What should be the most important grammatical features? Well, I really hope that they keep it reasonable in terms of declensions, and that there aren't phonemes that are just completely unpronounceable or near unpronounceable to Anglophones.
Like our
Those
new
are
friend's
just-
vowel? Corn?
Yeah, I mean,
Cor?
look, I'll try it. I'm probably going to take a while to get it correct. But yeah, with Romulan, I prefer that it sounds similar to like the Elvish languages, because to me, it already is kind of headed in that direction. So I'm hoping it stays very like sonorous that way.
Mhm.
But yeah, please limit declensions, because there's such a thing as too many.
No,
looking
go
at
harder.
you,
Finish.
freaking-
Do finish.
Freaking Swahili. Stop
Swahili's not that bad. It just has lots of genders.
that. Ugh.
It's like 16
That and,
genders, but like they don't actually have extensive declensions.
But yeah, Swedish, and like there are certain conjugations in like Russian that I was like, come on now, this is too many. This is too many.
All right. Well, I'm going to hit play because I finished my drinks.
Pattern of heaven. So if we have the 1611 as the book in God's right hand, then pattern, according to the pattern on
Oh,
earth.
did you hear that God's
that-
right-handed?
Well, it
Oh,
didn't say
of
that
course
God
he
is
is.
right-handed. It's just he's quoting from Revelation 5:1. Like I saw in the right hand of him that sat on the throne. That's where we're getting this.
Well, he couldn't be left-handed. That's sinister.
That's a good point.
That's the book that would manifest and in time come down from heaven.
DM Wing says 16 genders woke, bro. Yeah, but like basically none of them apply to humans.
What's
So
Swahili?
I don't know.
Heaven. But it went through a great series of events. And that's where people get hung up. And that's where people are cleaving to the wisdom of
That's where people get hung up.
I mean, to be fair, it is where I'm getting hung
Yeah.
up. Like, how could the 1611 be the actual original Bible if there's this whole history of it being written in Hebrew and Aramaic and Greek and then being translated into various languages?
Yeah, so what
and,
you
like-
don't
That's
understand
Yes.
is the quantum tunneling.
Oh,
The
right.
1611 manifested from 4D space,
Yeah.
which isn't subject to these laws of
Yeah,
space-time.
I forgot about the quantum space-time quantum that John was tapping
Yeah,
into.
it's kind of like in Doctor Strange, The Multiverse of Madness, where
Right.
you go outside of the dimensions to find the Book of Ashanti.
Are you
Anybody
s-
could just go there.
Are you saying that
That's
occasionally
like
the
the
1611 is
1611
paint?
I wouldn't say that. I think it's outside the dimensions of paint,
Oh, okay.
and the black and white universe, and the Hydra universe, and the dinosaurs universe.
Ben Thick Tunicate, the mythic kipist, says for £5, sorry, 16 genders.
Mythicipist.
So you're saying Swahili is the wokest of the wokes? So, like, as a joke, yes, but actually, what's happening is actually kind of interesting. So Swahili has a lot of genders, which are just grammatically important noun classes, and it actually doesn't really have extensive declensions. But what it does is it will mark verbs for the number and person and gender of the subject and the object. And then because it's very unlikely, given how many genders there are, that both the subject and the object noun of a sentence are going to be the same number and gender, it gives Swahili the ability to have a free word order without needing noun cases, by just relying on the fact that you get a lot of information about the syntactical function of the nouns just based on gender and number, which I think is super cool.
That is cool.
Yeah.
It just is a pain in the ass to try to learn when you're not a native speaker.
I mean, I don't know, I'd rather learn 16 genders than like 40 whatever noun cases from Finnish. So like,
Ugh.
there's always a crazier thing in a language that you could have to deal with.
You know, it might just be me, but to me, Finnish often sounds a lot like
I'll say Tolkien Elvish.
No, nothing like that. It's what are the guys called in the Star Wars, in the
That
newer
does
ones?
not narrow that down.
Yeah, that's a
It
whole lot of
doesn't.
people.
They're
The Huts?
They're like the bug people who were
The
were
Rhodians?
helping with no, not them.
The Geonosians?
The Genosians. That's
Okay.
it.
I don't
Sounds like
see how they
Genosians.
sound like the Geonosians, but I'll take your word for it.
Okay.
I
I mean, I have
You're
spent a
getting
lot
fried
of
in the
time
chat,
in
Dapper.
Yeah, Naramda Puts, who's been a member for 30 months at the Tetrapod level, says the anti-pope of linguistics has spoken.
Finland.
And then Ben Thick Tunicate says for £2.
Mythicipist.
Yeah, the Mythicipist says Tote's not a linguist, guys. Look,
Yeah.
knowing trivia about linguistics isn't what makes you a linguist. That's just not how it works. Plus, sometimes I like to do conlang stuff,
shit.
and knowing about really cool and interesting ways to do like syntactic marking is a big part of doing conlang stuff. So take that.
This world and the natural sciences to try and understand the authority of the King James Bible, which eventually they will overthrow by their natural sciences.
Okay, hold on. So they're going to overthrow the King James by their natural sciences? I'm going to back up. I'm going to listen to a little bit of this in a row. So shh, everybody.
A great series of events.
Okay.
And that's where people get hung up. And that's where people are cleaving to the wisdom of this world and the natural sciences to try and understand the authority of the King James Bible, which eventually they will overthrow by their natural sciences.
God waited how many
And what
thousands of years to bestow this?
I guess what he's saying is they're going to overthrow the authority of the 1611 via their sciences, but that's the wrong thing to do because they shouldn't be relying on science.
See, I feel like he's saying that that's what's happened.
Yeah.
That, adhering to this thing called reality is what's interfering with the hegemony of the 1611 King James.
Also, Jillian Wren says, isn't Romulan canonically an in-universe conlang? I don't believe so. As far as I know, there is no like official explanation for the Romulan language other than that it has a few dialects, according to Kelvin Timeline Uhura. But I think the presumption is that it's a language that shares a common ancestor with Vulcan and just evolved naturally in the population of that, original group that split off and left Vulcan. But then again, I mean, it's not like it's impossible for it to be a conlang in the universe.
I'm going to add that to the list of things to ask Terry Metalis.
Okay.
As if he would know that.
Right. But still, you should bug him about the fact that he hasn't made any movements towards releasing the Romulan dictionary.
It's like, hey, I know we just sat down for a beer, man, but
you have had this
Romulan language dictionary.
You talking to this man for like 2 years.
Shut up, man.
Rebelling against the book.
You also know the scheduling nightmare that has been occurring over 2 years.
Look, I get that, but I'm just saying that in the space of 2 years, you could have just been like, hey, one of the things on my wish list is that maybe Paramount publish a Romulan dictionary for the Romulan conlang from Star Trek Picard, like they did for Klingon. You just say that. You just put it out there. You just float it as a thing, but you haven't even done that. Which means I am blaming Vishanti for
never
us
get
not
no
having
respect.
a Romulan dictionary. And she's the one who's like, I would like to
Kidding
learn
me.
Romulan. And I'm like, yeah, that does sound fun. Too bad we
I'm
can't.
just gonna Jolan True my way on out of here.
right hand. That's pretty serious.
Yep.
But they don't have the wisdom of God.
And remember, the wisdom of God is just cherry picking. Well, actually, no, it's first of all starting with the assumption that the 1611 King James Version of the Bible is the actual original Bible that pre-existed creation. That's where you start. That's the wisdom of
You
God.
have to start there.
And then you hunt through the King James for any time you can use numerology to kind of make it seem like that's the conclusion that you have evidence for. That's what's happening. Because remember, we ended not last time, but the time before, with G. John Rove here, or Rove, I don't know, telling us that this is a top-down where we start with the conclusion that the 1611,
Yes.
and then we go
Yeah,
and
you
we
gotta
find the
reverse
supporting
engineer the
evidence.
proof. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is the exact opposite of
this is-
how logic and reason and evidence works.
This is starting to make me think. So one of my teachers in grad school was Craig A. Evans, who, as it turns out, is a terrible person. But he used to tell us this story about doing like a talk at a church about the Dead Sea Scrolls, and someone coming up to him afterwards and was very excited about the talk he gave, and he's like, I'm super interested in these Dead Sea Scrolls. Would you happen to have any pictures on hand with you? And he's like, yeah, I think so. And he pulled out some like probably a copy. He might have had a copy of DJD, which is the official publication, in his briefcase. And he pulled it out, right? And he's showing him pictures, and the guy's looking at them, and he's looking at them, and he's going, oh. And he pauses. He asks Craig Evans, he says, so what you're telling me is that the these and the thous are in these pictures. Could you point those out to me? So I'm starting to wonder. I'm really starting to wonder if maybe that was one of these two guys who was there.
But also, what a flex! Like, I keep that thing on me, and just pulls out a volume of DJD.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Well, some of us just,
come on.
I mean, it is his job.
Some of us just do carry them around with us.
Goop2 3.
Yeah, I just carry several 100-page volumes of academic publications around. It's fine. I just keep them on me.
Goop2 3, who's been a member for 14 months, says Terry Batalis, who has written 0 dictionaries. I've actually, first of all, yes, but also I'm not saying that Terry Batalis should write the dictionary. What I'm saying is he should float that to the person who created the Romulan conlang for Star Trek, and to like the Paramount execs as like, hey, you know how over the years the Klingon dictionary has made a fair bit of money. Well, maybe we should do one for Romulan.
When I float this idea, I'm gonna say make sure that you sign your email Saturn Award winning.
Yes.
Showrunner.
Yes. Please do that.
That is correct. Yeah.
They're not
Also, Katie Lewis says the 1611 King James Version is not an approved translation for the liturgical use or private study by Catholics. Checkmate, heretics.
Yeah.
Look, Mr. Evolutionist.
Take that. See, that's just more evidence that the Catholics are actually wrong, and that whatever this guy is doing is the one true church.
Yeah, no question.
Yeah,
I'm quite certain that's.
I'm very confident that if Paul walked into this guy's museum, he would know what was going on in every single detail, and nothing about that would seem strange or weird to him.
In the chat, Hads is saying, hey, Vishanti, the churches must have been really bemused when Paul wrote to them in English. Well, that's why Peter says that some of Paul's letters are hard to understand.
I mean, that checks out. That checks out.
Wisdom that comes from God. They're seeking the wisdom of this world to understand a matter. And that's not going to work now.
Yeah, the wisdom of this world, everybody, is the idea that cause then has effect come after, and not the other way around. It's cause then effect rather than effect then cause. That's the wisdom of this world. I do kind of wonder, do you think that G. John Rove ever tries to eat an egg and then boil it afterwards?
When he eats it, it's already been boiled.
Yeah. Well,
As
I mean,
the scripture says, whatever you forgive on earth has been forgiven in heaven. Like, it's already been done, man. It's as above, so below. Don't you get it?
honestly, I would be more convinced of the 1611 idea if instead of just giving me random numbers and talking about quantum space-time quantum, if Mr. Rove here filmed himself in one unedited cut going to the store, buying an egg, peeling the egg to find a boiled egg, then putting the peel back on, placing that egg in a pot of boiling water, and then taking that and throwing it in the trash. So that he could have retrocausality for boiled eggs. That would make me pretty convinced. Or at least I would take it more seriously. So, Mr.
Boiled
Rove.
eggs. During Lent?
Well, I mean, he can do it after Lent. That's fine. Also, I feel like this guy has also unsubscribed from Lent.
Yeah.
Actually, a friend of mine was like,
Could
wait,
be.
wasn't Lent like last week? And I was like,
This week too.
well,
Wouldn't
yes,
you know it?
but it's also this week. Like, how long do you think Lent is? And I was like, I don't know, like a week or two. And I was like, no, it's from Mardi Gras
No,
till
it's
Easter.
literally not.
That's kind of the point of Mardi Gras.
I've been hearing, just me, but I've been hearing that Lent has been dropping subs like a lot.
Well, you know,
Damn.
we have to have a collaboration with between our channels. We'll do the Dapper Dinosaur Lent collab stream. It'll be great.
Talking about pattern here. So I want to show you this.
It'll be very purple,
Like
everyone.
like a sub drive.
Yeah, for Lent, it'll be very purple.
Do a sub drive with Lent.
This is
Oh my god, that's even worse. Is that supposed to be Solomon or some shit?
That's an abomination.
God, that's so
He's got
ugly.
five fingers on that right hand there. Left
Oh
hand,
yeah, he does.
sorry.
Look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5
Yeah.
with no thumb. Yeah, let's take a drink for just how atrocious this AI slop is.
And that scepter is just
Where's it
kind of
coming
coming
out
out
of?
of
Yeah, and
It's-
His form?
it's yeah, that's actually part of him. He's got like a narwhal tusk growing out of his arm, and then he capped it off with a little globe thing. My God, that's
Yeah.
so ugly.
That's unfortunate.
Ugh. None of this actually makes sense if you look at it too hard. Look at one of the texts on the line on the scroll to his left breaks into 2 lines of text. It's a little Y-shaped line of text.
It does. It totally does.
This is amazing. Oh.
the pattern being revealed in the law of Moses. Now that would be the Hebrew. It says,
Okay.
and it shall
Hold
be
on.
when
We'll go back. What will be the Hebrew?
world to understand a matter. And that's not going to work. Now we're talking about pattern here. So I want to show you this. This is the pattern being revealed in the law of Moses. Now that would
So this citation from Deuteronomy is the pattern of heaven being revealed.
be the Hebrew.
Okay.
Okay.
It says, and it shall
And-
be when he is
But so the pattern, this here
It's going to
will be-
reveal.
So this
the
is
pattern.
the Hebrew.
No,
Is that
I
what he's?
don't-
No.
I'm not.
Okay.
I'm confused. I'm going to let him read it.
the king.
All right.
Let's just say the king. And it shall be when he, the king, sitteth upon the throne of his kingdom. Now that's what we just saw in Revelation 5. God is a great king.
It's saying this is a prophecy about King James. Oh God.
Okay. Well, first of
Oh
all,
no.
yeah, God being depicted as a king is just kind of a through line for gods generally. But okay.
This is saying this is not talking about kings in general. Like this is an instruction for kings in general. It's saying this is
Yeah,
specifically
this is about
a
King
prophecy
James. Yeah. Well,
about King
let's
James. This. Ugh.
let's let him get there, and if you're right about that, sorry, we'll take a drink for it.
Ugh.
And he's king over all the earth. So the king of Israel is patterned after God.
I mean, that seems reasonably plausible as a take. Yeah. Okay.
Sure.
I'll take a drink for him getting something right on that one. That seems like a pretty reasonable take. Okay. Although it does make you wonder why there's stuff about kings in Deuteronomy when this is supposed to be long before God allowed kings to happen, and before that he was sort of anti-monarchist, according to the internal narrative.
Because it's out
It's
of
almost
time.
like
Duh.
it's almost like Deuteronomy was
you know,
actually written at a later date in
It's
service to a
almost
king,
like-
a particular king.
It's almost like the texts also are not univocal.
Ooh, it's an interesting pronunciation there.
I learned that one from Sean McDowell.
Okay.
Yeah, it's too bad we don't have that sound clip handy.
It's too bad.
And it shall
You
be
need my
when
sound clips, dude.
he, the king, sitteth upon the throne of his kingdom, that's Israel, that
Okay.
he shall write him a copy of this law in a book out of that which is before the priests, the Levites. And it shall be with
Listen,
him.
so far, so good.
Yeah, he's not doing a
I
terrible job
mean,
at this.
No, he's not.
He shall read therein all the days of his life, that he may learn to fear the Lord his God, to keep all the words of this law and these statutes to do them. That's Deuteronomy
Yes, the laws and statutes which centralize the cult of Adonai at Jerusalem, where the king is ruling somewhat conveniently.
17, 18, and 19.
Oh,
You see here that what God insisted that the king do is that he have a copy of the Bible
Mhm.
at his right hand.
The Bible,
It
not the Torah,
Oh,
just the Bible.
Yeah,
not
the Bible. Yeah, which it doesn't say. It says the law, which would be. It probably wouldn't even necessarily include Genesis, since
A
it's not
form
like
of D.
Genesis has.
No, no, no.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah,
it's
it's
a form
Deuteronomy.
of it's a form of D here.
Yeah,
Not even Deuteronomy. It's a
Yeah,
form
it's a
of
Deuteronomist.
D. So
Um,
yeah, it's
but like
it's something.
he's doing a lot better with this than he was with Revelation 5:1. I'll give him that.
Yeah, for sure.
As he sit upon the throne.
Also, it doesn't say right hand anywhere, as far as I can tell here in Deuteronomy 17. But that's okay. I'll give him that. One.
It has to be okay because the king in the picture is holding the book in his left hand.
Is it a book? It seems like he's holding awkwardly like two different scrolls that are like at right angles to each other.
Yes, right. It's
I think one of those is about to fall, buddy. You might want to catch it with your right hand.
It looks that way.
Your
Yeah.
right hand is
How do
holding
you
a
do
separate
that?
scepter that merges into one of your necklaces.
Oh my god. It's like he's got. Oh wow, it is. I'm thinking it's the same scepter. It's just been.
Oh, it's just
Is this
Might be.
part of the process of manifestation?
Oh no.
Into the. Wow. Okay.
It's pretty
Okay.
clear, isn't it?
No.
Let's go back,
It's
because that's exactly where
so
that is
clear.
coming from, is this right here.
wow.
And I saw on the right hand of him that sat on the throne. That's the king of Israel.
All right, with the King of Israel, we're going to take a quick break because I am out of my drink, and we're also a little bit late for
I'm coffee.
our quick break to go
I'm
refill drinks and whatnot. So, everybody, please enjoy the musical stylings of Benthoven while we go refresh our beverages, and then we'll be right back. Hello, we are back. Thank you for sticking with me. Most of you who did. It looks like we lost 4 viewers. Which, you know.
God damn it.
Yeah, how dare you? I say to all the people who are still here. It's like when the priest gets up in church and complains about how few people are here. It's like, yeah, but you're complaining to the people who are here, dude. What are you doing? I've not heard many of those homilies, but I've heard a few of them, and I'm like, you do realize who you're talking to, right? It's the people who show up.
Yeah, but it's supposed to make them feel better about being there too, I think.
Maybe. I don't know.
In some way.
I feel like if you didn't want to be there, you just wouldn't be. You don't need to be told like, oh, hey, good job. You did the thing you wanted to do. Anyway, now that we're back, I want to say thank you very much to everyone who helped support this channel. You probably guys, you probably know this, but the actual money that I get from YouTube directly from things like ads is virtually nothing. I'm not saying I would give it up, but like it's certainly not enough to pay the bills. But I have been doing this as my full-time day job for years now, and it is only made possible because I have an extremely awesome audience who is willing to help support this channel to make sure it keeps going, keeps improving, you know, equipment upgrades, things like that. So if you are enjoying what I do here and you would like me to be able to continue, there are a few ways to support. One of the Patreon. That starts at $1 a month. There's a 15% discount if you go annual. That's linked in the description. There's also, you can join the channel. That's, I don't keep quite as much, and that's why it starts at $2, well, $1.99. But both of those give you early access to my Discord, early access to my videos and regular normal time access to my Discord, because that's how Discord works. Discord is not a quantum space-time time travel loop like the 1611 King James. It'd be cool if it were, but it's not. It's also why I can't give you early access to these streams, because that's not how streams work.
There's a different server for that.
Yeah, but it's someone else's server. I was gonna make a Deepak Chopra joke, but I don't want to because it turns out he's an Epstein Files alumnus, so I don't want to make jokes about him anymore. So, anyway, yeah, so that helps too. If an annual or monthly pledge isn't your thing, or you just want to help out another way, there are a few other things. I still do have an Amazon wish list that is going away here in about like a few days. And it will unfortunately be replaced by a wish list which has a 8% surcharge on most things. But Amazon has decided to just ignore privacy concerns when it comes to public wish lists. So I'm going to shut down my public wish list. But it's still there for a few days. So if you want to get me something a little cheaper than it might be, that's an option. There's also, I have a merch store. Someone recently got a Dapper Dinosaur tank top, and she's quite happy with it. Let's see. There's also, you can help me render. So I do a lot of 3D animations for this channel. I don't know if you know. But something that can help with that is the render farm I use is called Sheepit. And the way it works is I gather points on Sheepit when I render frames for other people. And when other people render frames for me, it costs points, and how high priority my frames are depend on how many points I have. So, the more points I have, the faster my stuff gets rendered. And also, if you render for me on Sheepit, then if I have frames that I need rendered, you will get them preferentially, assuming your computer actually can render them, because some people don't have computers that are quite strong enough for all the frames. So if you want to help me out with that, there's a section down in the Discord down in the description called How to Render for Me. There is a link that will take you to where you can download the Sheepit client, download the one appropriate to your operating system. Then there will be some login information. That login information will tell Sheepit that you are rendering for me and I'm to get those points, but it will not let you access my account administration function. So you can't actually log into my account on the Sheepit website. So you can't add projects or delete projects or change my profile picture or change my password or anything like that. So, yeah, that is how you can support me if you want to. And also, what everyone can do, and it is completely free, at least not any more than the electricity you're using right now, is like and share the video and leave a comment. All of those things help, especially the share, especially if you actually use the share button. Because the share button, if you use that URL from there, it will add a tag to the URL that says like something like function equals share. And that means that YouTube knows that you got there from someone else sharing the link. And they like that. So if you're going to share this video, please don't just copy paste from the URL. Use the share button. It works better. I mean, if you can't be bothered to do that, then the copy pasting the URL will still work. But like, it's better if you use the share button. So, yeah, with that being said, I think we're ready to dive back into this. I have a fresh Moscow Mule. I think, Kip, you have a fresh cup of coffee. Vishanti,
I have a fresh cup of coffee.
you have a fresh cup of coffee?
No,
What do you have?
but I am eating some beef jerky, so
During Lent?
Beef jerky. Ooh,
yeah, teriyaki beef jerky.
Ooh.
yummy. That's awesome. You know, last night I barbecued salmon, and I
Yummy.
had linguine alfredo, and my son had made some just like home fried potatoes and onions. So I just scooped the
Nice.
leftovers of those on my plate too. It was a very nice. I had a very nice dinner while I watched it was episodes 1 and 2 of season 4 of Invincible.
Nice.
And it saved me from watching the now disgraced Egyptologist's live stream. I only watched him for like an hour last night.
Wow. The Vitrosen 3073, or sorry, yeah, for 3736. Is it worth it to render for you if I have no GPU? So ultimately, it's going to be a thing that's up to you. It's certainly going to get me fewer points than if you were rendering on a GPU, but it will still render frames on your CPU, and it still is points, and every single point adds up. So it's always going to be a call for you. I will take anyone who wants to render anything for me because I really appreciate it. But if you feel like it's not worth the electricity that you're going to spend on that because you're not getting me that many points, I understand. I have ended the poll. How many books has Kip written? The number one answer was -3, followed by 0 at 33%. Sorry, -3 was at 34%. -2 at 17%, and -1 at 16%.
Weird.
So it looks like you have written
Isn't
either
that weird?
-3 or
Is it
0
weird?
books.
Is it weird that 0 came in at second?
No, I don't think it is.
By fair margin.
I mean, we've been saying
okay.
you've written no books or 0 books
You've
for
been
quite a
saying
while.
that for incorrectly for a very long time now.
Yeah, you keep telling yourself it's incorrect. I get it. I'm going to hit play.
And the king of the whole earth. A book. 16th word. 11th going backwards.
You think he knows it at the
Oh, we're back to this again.
You think that he knows it at the time of the alleged time of the Exodus, that no one had books, that wasn't even a thing that existed? They hadn't even been invented?
No idea. I'm
Okay.
guessing he thinks that Adam stitched together the first choirs to make the first book, I'm sure.
Probably.
So when the king of Israel was ordered by God to sit on the throne and to have the book in his right hand at all times, that was patterned after.
Which isn't what you read. It didn't actually say that, but okay, it said every day.
Didn't say that.
And it didn't say right hand. And every day isn't at all times. I'm just going to take a drink for just conflating every day with in the right hand all the time, which isn't the same thing. Look, it's like if I told you, hey, I listen to an audiobook, at least one chapter every day. What I'm not telling you is that I never do anything besides listen to audiobook. Sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, sometimes it's the book that your dog wrote that you pretend is yours.
After this right here. Now, how many people have ever shown that before?
Well, no one, including you. So, still 0.
No, I've never seen that before. Wow.
That is the precepts
Huh.
upon precept
Wow.
and line upon line.
But that's like that's Isaiah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's taking that as like sort of a motto for just reading whatever wild nonsense he wants to into whatever copy of the Bible he likes best. Because, I mean, the Bible is written in lines. You can't deny it.
It's very true.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
Yes.
you open up a 1611, and what are you confronted with? Double columns of lines of text. Yep. So, I mean, that's proof right there.
Same thing in every copy of certainly the Hebrew text of the Bible that I am aware of.
Wait, it's not written in swirls like House of Leaves?
Copy.
It would be more
No,
fun
but
if-
some of the Dead
and-
Sea
and,
Scrolls
you know-
actually do have House of Leaves style
which is
writing
cool,
where they
actually.
go into the margins and it's upside down and it's tiny and yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah. That's fair.
And it's very, very
So,
telling. Because the book that the king, we'll go to that again, of Israel
Yes.
So this is supposed to be the king of Israel. Okay, buddy. Sure. The king of Israel definitely had a cross on a crown and a scepter with a globe on it. Those definitely aren't like medieval European and like West Asian
Maybe
things.
they're British Israelites.
Oh, there you go. Maybe they are.
Oh.
Honestly, that wouldn't surprise me if these two are British Israelites.
So yeah, they think that, the English throne is just David's throne.
Ugh. Does that make them believers in the Khazar conspiracy theorists?
Oh
Or
God.
conspiracy theory? My
Ugh.
I don't know if it's the thing that I always think of whenever I think of the stupid Khazar thing, which is like, in case you're wondering, everybody, it's basically like most of the people who are today identified as Jews, according to this theory, not real life, are actually converts from like Central Asia, from a people group called the Khazars, which is a real people group. But here's the thing: even if that were true, you know what that would make those people? It would make them Jews. Because when you convert to Judaism, guess what you are now? You're a Jew. So even it's not
And also,
actually true, but even if it were,
not
it
only
wouldn't
has-
matter.
That conspiracy has been disproven in so many different ways, historically and genetically.
Mhm.
But whatever makes the neo-Nazis feel good. So
Yeah, and it's the weirdest conspiracy theories are always, to me, are always the ones where it's like it doesn't even matter if it's true, because nothing changes. Because literally nothing would change if like the vast majority of European descended Jews were actually descendants of converts. It wouldn't. Then what? Hey, you know what's true about the vast majority of European Christians? They're descended from converts, because everyone who's a Christian has Christian ancestry, is descended from converts, because Christianity started at a point in time, and you couldn't have joined it before then, and people converted to it. That's how it started. So does that make them not actually Christians? No, that's not how any of it works. That's
in the
religion
chat,
start.
Babaton is asking, how do you disprove conversion genetically? The claim is that Ashkenazi Jews specifically, quote, aren't real Jews or Semites, which don't even get me started on that.
Not even a real thing.
Because, they're actually descended from a bunch of Central European converts. The DNA does not show a sudden influx into those populations of Jews from Central Asia. That's just not a thing that happens.
It actually does show genealogical ties to the Middle East.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It also shows a whole lot of, Western Europe admixture, because, well, that's where they were living. And it turns out that even when you have, more or less encouraged endogamy, people still get horny, as it turns out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And no
It
matter
turns
how,
out when you're looking to, settle down with people or get married or have a partnership in a place, you tend to get with the people who are geographically close to you. You don't travel halfway around the world and go, let me find somebody from the original stock I came from. That's just not how that works.
we had to wait for mail order brides for that to happen.
That's yes.
Yep.
So I think I've been staring at this picture for too long, but now I'm seeing in the background just the random accumulation of different styles of Roman columns.
Yeah.
Just hanging out there.
Yeah, there's just a room of columns.
the
Now,
background.
to be fair,
That's it.
I do have a scene that I've made that does in fact have a background of just a bunch of columns. So like,
Yeah, but it probably makes sense.
no, it doesn't. I just put it
I'm
there so that you
guessing
wouldn't see the
It
background.
doesn't really.
No,
Okay,
it's just there to give you the vague impression that it's a big space full of stuff. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, but it's not a random assortment of columns that don't make sense together. They all match. So there's that.
That's a start.
Yeah.
Right.
My Unfinished Journey.
They're
for
probably
6
all relatively the same height. Too,
Well, they go
I'm guessing.
below and above frame, so they are actually, but you
Sure.
can't tell because they just
There you
fill
go.
up the frame from top to bottom. My Unfinished Journey for $6.66 says, "Hail Nero, Daps, and Dr. Kill, and hail negative numbers of books written." There's a fist pump emoji. Now, what does it mean to write -1 book? Erasing an existing book? I don't know. That's exactly what it means. Kip had to retract his books, which means they got erased from existence, which means they're negative books now.
No, they didn't. You can actually get them right now. What it actually means is you can get them for free. That's what it means.
No.
So
Kip is
So go
just
get them.
trying to pad out his numbers.
it is. Listen, there are precious few things that you can get for a reasonable price from Brill. Even fewer things that you can get for free from Brill. My book that I co-edited with Emmanuel Tove.
Co-edited,
and,
so
Bobby
you
Duke.
didn't write it.
So I
Co-edited?
wrote a lot of it.
Hmm.
So that one is one of the very, very, very few things that you'll ever get for free from Braille.
Fair enough.
Keeping in his right hand is a picture of the 1611, but it's in Hebrew.
It can't be in Hebrew and be the 1611, dude.
It's the Hebrew. It's the Hebrew
drink.
version
Taking
of
a
the
drink.
1611. Is
Taking a
that?
drink. That's that.
God.
The 1611 is a specific printing of a specific translation of the Bible. Literally, if it's not that, or maybe a facsimile, I'll grant you that. It's not the 1611 King James. If it's in Hebrew, it's not the 1611. You can argue that it was perfectly divinely translated from the 1611 if you want to. That's at least something I can understand. But it can't actually be the 1611 in Hebrew, because once you translate the 1611, it's not the 1611 King James. It might be the Bible. I will say that seems reasonable to me, that it could still be the Bible, because I think the 1611 King James counts as a Bible. But you guys get it. Everyone gets it. No one is confused. I'm going to hit play.
Everyone gets it. No one. No.
Only these guys are confused.
These guys are confused. That's it.
The 1611 is in English. The 1611 predates this book in the king's right hand.
Even though it's from the 16. Like,
Well, we're looking at the.
You know what the
Sir, buddy.
1611 is there for, right? It's a date, buddy. It's 1611 CE, right? And this is, you think that this was written what, like 2,000 or 3,000 years ago? So it can't.
It's just so amusing to me
snap.
too, that he's talking about the text of Revelation, which he doesn't have on the screen, with a picture on the screen of the king holding books in his left hand instead of his right hand. So, well done.
King of Israel, sitting on the throne of Israel with the law at his side. So we're already seeing a supernatural revelation.
No, we're not. What we're seeing is you found a number. You found basically some numerology that you thought was neat after already coming to a conclusion and then just hunting for reasons to think it was true.
Mm-hmm.
And then you combine that with a thematically similar verse from elsewhere and then lied about what it actually said. That's what we've seen actually there, Mr. Rove. That's not what I would consider compelling.
Given to us by the mind of Christ and the eye of the Spirit. And that is that the 1611 predates the Torah. The Torah.
By the way, buddy, it contains the Torah, so it can't technically predate the Torah. That's not how that would work. That's like saying my arm predates my body. That doesn't make any sense. What do you? I'm taking a drink. I'm just taking a drink.
I was just trying to wrap my head around that. That's yeah.
The way you want what I know what you're trying to get at, right? Like I know what Rove here is trying to say. What he's trying to say is that the 1611 King James predates what you find in Hebrew in a Torah scroll. But if that's what you want to express, you could use words that actually express that rather than using words that don't express that. Because when you say things like the 1611 predates the Torah, despite the fact that the Torah is in the 1611, translated into English, it sounds like you're just saying things that aren't even ideas. Now, I know you actually do have an idea, but like, I don't know, get better at communicating it.
Is coming after the image of the 1611. That's controversial.
That's true. That's true. Take a drink.
Yes, it is.
It's controversial.
God.
That's probably the most true thing he said so far.
Yes.
Would you like to make any comments on that?
Well, if you're thinking about the word of God as eternal, you have to start somewhere.
What? Isn't that the whole point of eternal, is that you don't have to start somewhere? Maybe I'm confused as to what you mean. I'll hit play. I'll listen more.
You have to start somewhere because it always existed.
Yeah.
Yes.
So if you're using heaven as a template, which is eternal,
Okay.
Like Paul talks a lot about this in Hebrews as well. And Hebrews is a very, I believe he wrote it. I have no question.
I'm glad that you think that Paul wrote
Wow.
Hebrews. No,
Yeah.
virtually no one
Hey,
else thinks
is that
that,
what
but
it-
okay.
Is that what it says in the 1611 King James?
I mean, it's possible
I
that
wouldn't.
it has
I wouldn't
a
be
heading.
surprised if it did.
I don't know. Yeah, I
now
wouldn't
I'm
be surprised
curious.
either. Well, one of the problems is that these guys aren't just basing everything on the 1611. They're obviously in an interpretive tradition that they are giving priority over anything that's actually in the Bible. And part of that tradition is that Paul wrote Hebrews.
I'm wondering if
Uh-huh.
anybody in the chat has a 1611 King James.
If you do,
and can
please let
look
us
some
know.
of this
BT
stuff
dubs.
up. Please let us know so you can look some of this stuff up for us, because somebody lost his.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry.
So this is apropos of nothing really.
That's fair.
But Robert Mueller died.
Yeah,
Rest in
I heard
piss,
about that.
bigot.
Heard about that.
Who's that guy?
You're like, oh my god, he was such a... No, he literally persecuted Muslims disproportionately. He
Yeah.
sucks. Bye.
He's most recently
Who is it?
famous for being special counsel during one of the Donald Trump investigations. Which
Yeah,
is
and
why
by the way, he
people
did... Let
seem
me
to
think,
like him.
was
Oh,
it
that guy.
nothing
Oh,
to hold
really?
them accountable?
Yeah, he failed
Yeah,
entirely.
it was. It was nothing. Great.
Yep.
Wow. Okay.
That he wrote it.
Wow.
But
We
I'm
hate a
telling you,
neutral ass bitch. Stand for something.
Like,
God.
and you don't even have to stand for something in terms of partisanship. You can just stand for justice and the rule of law.
Yeah.
Like, when notorious crimes are committed in public and no one has any question as to the facts, it shouldn't take you like 3 years to figure out what your indictment's going to be about and what evidence you're going to present. Just putting that out there.
there's some hard sentences to understand in the book of
Oh, hey, I'm on Unfinished Journey.
Hebrews, because he goes back. He goes back about Mount Sinai, words sent to us. Like I'll make that into another video. Like there's so many layers that it's just every time you open your mouth to talk, my mind is just I got scripture verses going all over the place. I can go on all day about this stuff, and it's beautiful.
I feel like I'm understanding the dynamic between these two, right? Like, Shane seems to be just a sycophant of Rove here. And
Mhm.
Rove seems to be the only one who actually has something to put forward in terms of this idea. And I'm not sure why Shane is even here. I mean, technically, he's the host of this show. Like, this was on his channel. It wasn't on Rove's channel, who does also have a channel. That's how I found the logo that I put in this with. Which, by the way, can we talk about that for a second?
Yeah.
The logo for Above God's Name, which is the thing that God damn it, I can't talk today. John Rove, that's his channel, right? And his whole organization, Above God's Name. The logo uses the font ethnocentric. How do you use ethnocentric for your Bible-based channel? Ethnocentric has one use. It is for art projects and logos that have something to do with sci-fi. That is why you use ethnocentric. It is the sci-fi font. Every sci-fi font you've ever seen, with very few exceptions, is going to be at least derivative of ethnocentric. And yet, I found that, and I was like, hey, that's just ethnocentric, which is why the thumbnail for today is in ethnocentric. It is to make fun of the fact that he used ethnocentric for his 1611 Above God's Name KJV only organization. How? How do you do that? Like, I don't expect people to know a lot about typography, right? Like, I don't know a lot about typography. But my guy, papyrus would have been a better option than ethnocentric for your logo. And I'm not a big fan of papyrus, although I do think it has its place. But like,
I used it once.
that doesn't surprise me, actually. I mostly only ever use it as a joke. But like, I think once or twice I've used it in a way that I found appropriate. Just like every once in a while I've actually found a use for Comic Sans. It happens every once in a while.
It was
But like,
2016.
that's not a good excuse. It was overused by 2016. But
It was
like,
a nerdy conference paper.
oh, Noise Ending says ethnocentric is not the name I expected that font to have. Yeah, I don't know why it has that name. I don't know the history of that name.
It's a weird name.
Yeah, Prixie Purple, I don't know why that's the name of that font. But like, I have that font because, you know, sometimes I do sci-fi stuff. And like, my God, it is such a stupid choice. Also, I don't think he actually uses ethnocentric for the numbering. I think the 1611 is in like some just fairly standard Latin script font with serifs, which like what are you doing? What is any of this? That's literally why the title for today's stream involves the word typography.
Beautiful. Keep going. I don't want to
Well,
interrupt.
hold on. Yeah, it looks weird. You used in your title screen, the 161 in Dapper Reacts 161 is also ethnocentric, isn't it?
In mine, it is. I don't think it is in his logo.
Yeah.
Though.
No, you're right. It is. It's close.
Oh,
but
maybe it
it's
is. Maybe it is.
Slightly.
I think
the six looks the same, but the ones are different, right?
No, you know what?
The ones are definitely different.
Here's the thing: it is the
So-
same. It's just that mine, I have it italicized, and he doesn't. That's the
Oh,
difference.
that's it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which
Yeah,
does technically mean it's a different font, but like whatever, it's italicized.
it's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, man, it's just such a weird choice, and I don't get it. One of the things that I always think about whenever I do these things is like, what is it like to be that person? What thoughts go through these guys' heads? These guys' heads, like what when Mr. Rove here was like, I need a logo for my Above God's Name 1611 thing, right? And he was scrolling through his list of fonts. What made him settle on ethnocentric? Because that's not like the default font for anything. Like if you just open up whatever program you're using, whether it be like Paint or Photoshop or a vector program, which I doubt very much this guy used a vector program to make this logo. But like you have to choose the font, right? Like it just defaults to something boring like Helvetica or something. So
He probably had just watched The Terminator.
that could be it,
and
maybe. Yeah. Was this in a
that
sci-fi
was
mood?
it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that could be it. It's just such a weird choice. And also,
Mhm.
I'm glad that I have now informed a whole bunch of people that the name of the sci-fi font is ethnocentric, which is very confusing. So, congratulations, everybody. You have that slightly cursed bit of knowledge now.
Amen. So, this right here is the eternal continuum and the standard of God. God's throne is where all of law and order.
Guys, it's the quantum space-time quantum continuum. That's what's happening. And if you don't understand the quantum space-time quantum continuum, well, then you have no insight into the mind of God.
Issue from. It is the absolute authority. The throne is the authority of God. And what Christian would argue with that?
Dude, I don't think any Christians are going to argue with you that the throne of God is the seat of authority in some like spiritual sense, where it probably might not be a physical throne, but whatever.
Yeah.
It's just that I don't think you can get directly from there to therefore the King James 1611 is the official word of
1611.
God because of this verse in Revelation 5:1, and also because you found other times the Bible talks about books. Like, I think you're going to need to do a little bit more than that.
Listen, Prixie posted in the chat that the name made him settle on it.
That's
Yep.
that's certainly a possibility. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, my unfinished journey. My unfinished journey has a super chat.
Yes.
have a
Could you
super chat.
see if the epistle to the Hebrews is anywhere in the 1611 indicated to be an epistle of Paul?
Yes, please.
Yeah. If you could do that, because I really do hate that I lost that book. I really liked my 1611 facsimile.
I hate you.
Well,
for
that's fair.
the fact
Yeah.
that you lost that book.
That's fair. It really sucks. I looked for it for so long, even before this, well before this series. I was like, where the heck is my 1611 facsimile? And I was looking everywhere. I don't think it exists anymore. I think it's gone.
Listen, I have had moments. I have had moments like this. You know that I just have to share this. This is unrelated, but I want everybody to feel my enduring pain right now, because I had a thumb drive for a number of years. Whenever I work on Dead Sea Scrolls photographs from the Leon Levy digital library, I always snap my own pictures and stitch those together to basically create my own high resolution images of every single fragment that I ever work on. And I trim them out real nice in order to create layers so that I can manipulate them myself in like a digital space.
So you manipulate the text.
Yeah,
Okay.
for sure. I mean, everyone does. So, I had like easily 100 manuscripts with pictures of each individual fragment like this on a thumb drive. One of these things that I didn't actually carry with me everywhere, and at some point in time, in a move between places that I've done, I lost it, and it makes me angry.
Yeah, that's understandable.
Every time that I think about it, so angry.
Sorry. No, stop. Sorry, one of my browsers decided to do stupid things. All right, here we go.
When God's declaring and revealing to you, and everyone watching this is culpable to this revelation right here, that the 1611 is his standard of authority. That's pretty powerful.
I can't take these people
No,
seriously.
wait, what?
So you're saying
How does he
everyone is
get,
culpable if they don't accept your absurdly crazy nonsense that because of the numerology that you made up for Revelation 5:1 and the other crap that you made up about Deuteronomy, if on the basis of that, everyone else doesn't accept that the 1611 in English is the official version of the Bible, everyone's culpable for that. So that means everyone in the Bible is apparently in hell because none of them believe this. I can guarantee you that. I'm just going to take a drink for the apparently. Oh, like it's your fault if you don't believe this. You're actually a sinner if you don't believe him about this. That's some
right-handed
wild
Sith.
shit.
Right-handed Sith says that Dr. Kip Davis, the dog, snuck out of Lil's house to go eat your 1611.
That makes sense.
Copy.
Yeah. All right. Here we go.
Seriously powerful.
Yeah.
So this is the top down that we're going to look at as we go through the next today, tomorrow, and even a third day, perhaps.
Spoiler alert! They go on for
every
2
time
more
he
days.
says that. Every time they say that, they're just. I'm like, you guys are telling on yourself, and it's funny that you think that this is smart, and like everybody can see that this is just really, really dumb.
Yeah. Oh, also on my Infinite Journey, if you do find out whether or not the 1611 lists Hebrews as a epistle of Paul, do at me or Kip or Vishanti or all of us actually probably. That way we all have a pretty good chance of seeing it because I miss a lot of what happens in the chat unless it's added at me. Which is why I have some mods so that way I don't have to see everything. Not that I don't look at the chat. I'm not saying that either.
I've been told I should not pay attention to the chat.
I like to look at the chat and keep tabs on what's going on, and every once in a while there's actually something I want to bring up, like for everyone, including the panel. But like there's too much that happens in it for me to keep track of all of it, as well as produce, as well as give responses. Yeah. I don't have the brand.
You're right.
The bandwidth for that.
I like watching the chat too, but I think that's why I've been told I should not.
Yeah.
So.
Well, there's like a happy medium, right? When you're trying to produce your own show with a live chat, where there's a certain amount that's too little chat participation from you. There's some certain point where it's too much, and yeah, it's tricky. Yeah, as Jillian Red says, there are mods here. Yeah, it turns out.
And we're going to see that when it comes to the Word of God coming down from the throne of heaven to take its authority upon the earth, that it went through a growth series. That shouldn't surprise us because.
I mean, it does surprise me given that you think that the entirety of the 1611 already pre-existed. So I don't see why God wouldn't just present that to someone. But like, okay, sure, I guess it shouldn't surprise us.
When Jesus Christ, God's authority, came down from heaven, he came the exact same way. He came through with a growth series.
So because Jesus was a baby at one point and then he grew up, that's the same thing as the Bible being written piecemeal by various authors over time to culminate in the 1611.
I was picturing something more like the ascension of Isaiah, where
Hmm.
Jesus has to pass through like all 7 heavens to finally get to get to Earth
Actually,
and
you know
take
what?
his place.
What if instead what he actually means is that what happened was that the angel Gabriel came to some woman way back in like the late Bronze Age and said, "Hey, you're going to give birth to a tiny little book," and then like a tiny like little pocket Bible 1611 came out, and then other people had to make it grow bigger after she gave literal birth to a tiny little pocket Bible. Maybe that's what he means.
Good. I think that's it.
I mean that is a closer parallel to what happened with Jesus, right? There was a whole pregnancy and everything.
Yeah.
So, yeah, maybe that's what he means. And I mean, to be fair, a tiny little pocket Bible is probably easier to give birth to than an entire human. So,
Yes.
yeah,
I would imagine.
it's a lot smaller.
Much.
In fact, actually, the full size King James 1611 would be smaller than an entire human.
You probably have to worry less about it turning.
Yeah,
Before
it's not like it
exiting
doesn't have to like
the-
breathe. It can't be strangled by the umbilical cord.
No, exactly.
Yeah. So,
It's just a better option
all right.
all
So,
the way around.
new conspiracy theory: KJV birtherism.
Ugh.
Metageeky Platypus Librarian says, kudos to Dapper for calling Helvetica boring. Frickin' font snobs can't even articulate why they like it. Dang hipsters with Mothra. Look, there are uses for Helvetica. It's just one of the standard fonts, so it's not very interesting to me. If I see something a lot, it's not going to be that interesting. It's just how I work.
My unfinished journey has responded.
Oh, okay. Kip Davis. The title is "The Epistle of Paul to the Apostle." Sorry, the Apostle to the Hebrews. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, this 1611 does say. Sorry.
Interesting. Okay.
So, yeah.
As a seed,
At least,
and then growing, and then being perfected. We see that in Luke 2:52, where it actually expressly says.
Well, yeah, it's the bit where after the infancy narrative talks about how Jesus grew in stature and in his knowledge of the law and whatnot. Yeah,
which is, I mean, he's just cribbing like 1 Samuel, but okay.
Yeah, but if you're going to talk about what the New Testament has to say about Jesus specifically growing up, you're probably going to get that from Luke.
Sure. Yeah.
Regardless of where, because I mean, it's not like all of the New Testament authors aren't cribbing from previous scriptures. They see themselves as participating in that tradition, so of course they're going to do it.
Of course. I just don't think the the writer of Luke means what this guy means.
Where the Bible enters into the womb of a woman who gives birth to a tiny mini Bible. You don't think the author of Luke means that?
I'm so happy with this.
On the bright side, Vishanti, you're unlikely to have to give birth to a new set of scriptures. So
this whole stream is a cognito hazard.
Oh, did you see my most recent early access video? Because it's literally about a cognito hazard. It starts out with a cognito hazard warning.
That he obtained favor by favor in God's eyes, and wisdom by wisdom in God's eyes, and man's eyes as well, as he grew. And Jesus' own mouth said he would not be perfected until he passed through the cross. So there's nothing.
Love how it's just
what an
incredible coincidence. I mean, divine ordination, or whatever, that their language is the one that's the eternal holy language.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool how that worked out, huh?
Right-handed Sith says, why do they hate Comic Sans in the first place? Here's the thing. Comic Sans is overused, and it's often used by people who don't know a damn thing about typography in places where even if it weren't overused, it would be completely inappropriate. Right? Because Comic Sans is something, it gives you a very goofy, silly feeling. And then people will do things like
font equivalent of writing in crayons.
Right. But then you'll see people do things like oh, congratulations on your wedding in like Comic Sans. It's like, no, that's not an appropriate use of Comic Sans. It's not like, weddings shouldn't be a sad, solemn occasion, but they're not goofy and silly. They should be.
Yeah, and it's also like, look, Comic Sans meaning comic books.
Yeah.
Like that is an appropriate place to use that font.
Mm-hmm.
But if you were writing wedding invitations or an article for your local newspaper, Comic Sans, not the
Not-
choice. You
no.
wouldn't write it in crayon.
Actually, a good example of an appropriate use of Comic Sans is on one of the science experiments in Kerbal Space Program, because the entire game is supposed to be goofy and silly and the antics of these
Goofy
little
and
green
funny, not
spacemen.
very serious. Yeah.
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 So Comic Sans, appropriate use. So like it's not that Comic Sans is a bad font. It's just that no one knows how to use it, and it's absurdly popular.
And part of the frustration is that people who don't know how to recognize what looks good and bad
Yeah.
just go blundering around.
Yep. And look, I'm not saying that I'm a typography expert, right? Like, I'm really not. But like, I know when not to use ethnocentric or papyrus or Comic Sans. Like, come on.
Strange here, really,
Hey,
that we are looking at. If you neutralize yourself, if you put all bias aside, and you're just
Right, Sanded says they use Comic Sans for their resume.
Yeah.
I'm taking a drink. I don't even care. Oh, Metageeky Platypus Librarian for $2 says free birtherism plus KJV free bleeding
Free
plus
bleeding.
plus KJV birtherism. Sorry. Yeah, no, that's
No,
super
no.
cursed.
No.
That is super cursed.
We need to end the stream. I can't.
Well, we're gonna be ending it pretty soon. Yeah. Also, when it comes to the free bleeding thing, realize that people have had technology to deal with this problem for tens of thousands of years, right? Like we know about things like absorbent mosses that were dried out and then used for like, purposes like collecting menstrual blood. Like this isn't news. Yeah. In fact, the reason why pads have a luxury tax is because when they were invented, there had already been long-standing and reusable options. And the idea of using some expensive fabric disposably for this function was seen as a luxury because there were other options. I'm not saying it should have a luxury tax, but like that's the history of that. Is because it functionally was a luxury when they were invented. Because people have been solving this problem for tens of thousands of years.
Menstruation was only invented in the modern age.
Yeah. Or I guess it must have been
Don't you
invented in
know?
the Bible because it talks about it.
Now that was just part of the quantum tunnel.
Oh, right. Yeah. So it was invented in 1611 or so.
Yeah, which is,
Okay.
fairly modern enough.
And then for those other thousands of years, everyone was just like, what is this bit talking about? That's so weird.
And if you
I'm-
ask the Hoteps, it's because people eat corn.
I've heard
So-
that one. Black women only menstruate because they eat too much corn. Like, my
But yet
God.
somehow the Hoteps and the niche people who are like, no, black people are actually indigenous to the Americas too. It's like, wait, you can't
So they
say
invented
that they're
corn.
from here and then also that menstruation is an unnatural part of their biological cycle. That's not how that works.
Yeah.
God, I hate-
There's
Ugh.
there's one thing that I will give some of the Hoteps, which is to say, when they encourage people to say, like, look, white people aren't about to give you reparations anytime soon, so you need to go in and work with your communities to build up mutual aid and a community that's going to help take care of each other and to build your businesses and whatnot. That's probably good advice, because it's probably right. Basically, everything past that, what are you guys smoking and where did you get it? Because I want
Yeah,
some.
utter BS. An entire continent is actually just ancient Egypt.
Yeah, I love that one. The Americas are
Yeah.
ancient Egypt. I've actually seen a few just white as hell conspiracy theory people fall for that one too. And like, this is just like an
They're all
Afrocentrism
Egyptians.
silliness
No, literally.
thing, right?
There's an entire continent of Africa that people were from.
It's right
and
there.
most of the slaves were taken from West Africa, which is not Egypt.
Which also not Egypt, yeah. Yeah, that's another one that always gets me is like, I'm looking back to my Egyptian heritage. It's like, bro, you're probably from like Ghana or something. Which isn't the same thing as Egypt. It would be like if I were like, oh yeah, I need to really pay attention to my Russian heritage. It's like, your ancestors were from like France and Ireland, dude. What are you talking about?
Right. God.
looking for the revelation of the scriptures, and you can afford yourself to not get agitated as you go through this series. You're going to come through with a very clear understanding that English
He's not serious.
is
He can't be
God's
serious.
language.
Shanti, you know of serious flat earthers who think things like that the moon was dug out of the Grand Canyon by giants and then melted and put in the sky to
these
mock
guys are
people for
pose. I
believing
don't
in the
care.
sun god. Okay.
These guys are just pose.
I think they're this stupid.
I just can't.
I think
This has to be an elaborate troll.
I think Shane might be a troll. He might be a Poe. I don't think Rove is. I think John G. or G.
My
John Rove.
sanity
Serious.
was pushed to the brink with flat earthers, but this
is worse.
Yeah.
Okay, how crazy would it be if we then later find out that they are flat earthers because the King James says things about pillars of the earth and God uses the circle of the earth as his footstool? What if they are flat earthers?
I'll
Hey, did
only
you guys
accept
ever
that they're
see
not
Pillars
pose if
of
they're
the
also flat earthers.
I'll read it.
Well,
good.
their museum is not too far away. It's not super impossible, although now the gas is probably
Weird.
going to go through the roof. Maybe I won't. But, like, it wouldn't be completely outside the realm of possibility for me to just go to this museum.
Well, I'll
I will
come.
only-
We'll split the cost.
No,
of
don't.
gas.
No,
I will
Kip, don't
only
come to the US.
accept that they're not pose if they're also flat earthers.
Well, what I'm saying is I could just go and ask them. It's possible.
Okay, just go. Just ask them, find out, let us know.
I'll see what I can do. Make no promises. Because part of me also
Okay.
doesn't care that much, because it's still hilariously dumb either way. Metageeky Platypus Librarian says, menstruation began with Mary gestating the KJV paper cuts. Oh, God.
No.
Oh, my brain is dangerous today. To compensate, pelagic tunicate gross,
Metageeky wins
but then
the
5
internet
trans
today.
and a pelagic tunicate. Oh my God, that's
Yes.
so horrible. Paper cuts.
Katie Liz is saying that she shares my faith in humanity. It's not faith in humanity. It's just me protecting my sanity.
Yeah, this is a Credo Consulans situation here.
Yes.
Okay, we're going to start wrapping things up now that I've referenced obscure theological stuff.
I wouldn't be a stream without it.
I know, right? The weird thing is, I probably know more about theology than most of the Christians that I cover.
Oh, easily.
Like,
I think you probably know more about theology than most Christians. Period.
yeah, that's probably true.
It's that's not.
I mean, I know what Credo Consulans is. For one thing.
Yeah.
I can come up with more than one historically accepted model of salvation that isn't just penal substitutionary atonement.
Look, in casual conversation this week, was able to tell 2 or 3 separate people about the Marcionite heresy and the Two Powers heresy.
Nice.
Yeah.
Did you tell them
we're
about
just like this.
Did you tell them about
One
the
of these
Donatist
days-
controversy?
We didn't get that far because they had never heard of the Two Powers heresy, and they also didn't know who Marcion was because they're Jews, not Christians. So
Well, okay, that makes
I was
sense.
like, okay, just start there. We'll talk about the other stuff at some other time.
Okay.
One of these days, I'm actually going to make that video on the Two Powers heresy.
Do
Nice.
it,
Which
do
I
it,
think- you know
do
what?
it.
I've been this has been in the can for like a year, but it's coming. But and honestly, I think everybody would be better off if people actually understood what the hell.
It's like, wait, you've
the-
already had this
is
ready for a
going on.
year?
No.
okay.
I'm not.
Okay, 'cause
It's been on like
In the
no,
queue.
I know. I know. In the queue. Thank you. That's it.
Yeah,
The
there you
queue,
go.
not the can.
Yeah, those are very different things.
Yeah, very
Yeah.
different things. You're right. I'm sorry.
Okay.
And I knew that, but my brain, it sometimes. So yeah, but I just think everybody would be fundamentally much better off if people actually knew or understood what the hell. Because people think, well, many people have just never heard of it, which is another thing.
yeah,
but then people who have heard of it think it's something that it's not at all.
Mhm.
And then that's also not good. And it would be better if people actually knew.
All right. So, it is 2, which means I need Kip to give like a 30-second. Do you have anything
No,
coming up in the next few days?
I
He
need
needs
2
the
minutes
full
today.
2
I
minutes, though.
need my 2 minutes today.
It's unfortunate because now you're muted. and Vish has no major announcements. So the only thing I'll say is that I have a debate coming up at 4, which means I'm not actually going to be doing Star Trek stuff because that's going to take me right up to the debate, and I don't want to cut it that close. So, no Star Trek today, but do go over to Debate Hub to watch me debate FTFE because we're going to be debating. So, Kip, have 2 minutes.
Seriously,
Just have 2
this
minutes. Have 2 minutes.
Okay, thank
Go.
you. Final. All right. Okay. So I have a lot coming up. Budget Scripture Saturday is tonight. The Weasels are taking a break, and as a result, I've invited a couple of new people to come and hang out with me and Nitty to participate. It's gonna be a lot of fun. So Tommy
forgets
and
I
Matt from
exist.
the Humanity Live. No, that's not true. Now I feel bad. I'm sorry, Vish. We talked about this. I thought, but I'm sorry. But yeah. So that's happening tonight, and and now I feel bad. Tomorrow, because the Weasels are taking a break, I'm going to be on Bad Science Sunday with Maya Adkisson tomorrow.
Nice.
And then next week, I am publishing a video starring Christy Cobb and with Dr. Joshua Bowen, Dr. Christy Cobb and Dr. Joshua Bowen to talk about whether or not the New Testament ended slavery, because I know y'all are thinking that's ridiculous. So that's what's coming up. And then on Friday this week, I'm very excited that CJ Cornthwaite and Paula G are both going to be on the channel with Vish and me to talk about something else supremely stupid that was published by Inspiring Philosophy this last week.
I have a question about slavery. Was it ended after, say, like, I don't know, maybe like the suppression of non-Christian religions in the Roman Empire a few generations after Constantine?
Technically, slavery has not actually ended.
But was it made illegal in Christian-dominated countries around that time?
Yeah. When the New Testament was published.
No, I'm just saying, because I'll give you that it would take some time, right? I'm saying, like, did it end around the time that Christianity became the exclusively tolerated religion, plus, I suppose, Judaism in the Roman Empire, and to the exclusion of the tolerance of various pagan religions? Was that around the time that Christian-dominated countries abolished slavery?
At a time when the New Testament was being fairly widely distributed.
Yeah, and also had people in political power who were big fans of it.
Yes.
Yes, that is when it happened.
So the answer to that question is no. No.
Weird, because that seems like if the New Testament was a strongly anti-slavery book, that once it became
obviously it was very clear and obvious, and all the Christians believed it, as it was written. So obviously slavery ended immediately. It didn't take them another, 1800 years to figure it out, and then reluctantly be strong-armed into doing it.
You understand why Dr. Josh and I had to reach out to Dr. Christy Cobb to help us with this, right?
Not being super familiar with this person, I don't actually know.
So she's written on slavery in the New Testament.
Okay.
Published books. A book with Jennifer Glancy, who's
so
kind
she's
of the
got you
authority
beat by like 4 books.
So no, but yeah, yeah. So it's yes, thank you, Katie Lewis. Next Friday, it's a Canadian invasion with Vishanti, but we'll pretend that Vish is also Canadian.
My group chat with Chesh and Kip is called Canadian Takeover, and the little profile pic for the thing is a pie chart where 2/3 are Canadian flag and the 1/3 is the American flag. So yeah,
amazing.
All right. I'm going to get out of here. we're all done. Everybody, stay safe out there. Have a wonderful rest of your weekend. Feel free to go hop into the Dapper Dinosaur Discord server if you want to hang out and do something. But what's not happening is that I'm streaming Star Trek, because I am going to do some debate prep and also get a little bit of a break in, and maybe make myself some of that food that I returned and got a new version of. So, the last thing we have to say is, of course, that ice must be abolished. Hey, before you leave, I just want to take a second to thank my patrons and channel members, especially those pledging $20 or above. Sealoof, Benthovend, Tapioca Weasel, Michał Dominiak, Sphincter of Doom, Regios, Landon Knoll, Ian Chen, Eleron Teller, Phil Rivara, Kelvin Brostock Van Manen, David Hercules, Joshua Geese, Dan Sheedy, Pegajace, The Plastic Mouse, Arrow Dodger, Gordon Loves Science, Amber Athelian, Prixie Purple, Agricola Sequa, Me, Myself, and I, Fits of Rage 23, Edwin M., Ken Swanson, and John Ackerman. It's because of my channel members and patrons whom you're seeing on screen that this channel can stay afloat. Without you, it would all shut down. If you want to join the team, there's a link to join the channel below this video, and there's a link to join the Patreon in the description. On the Patreon, you can get a 15% discount for pledging annually, and either way, you get early access to virtually all of my scripted videos months before they come out for the general public. Thanks for watching.